N-E-R. Yes. Gradually, everyone will join and that will start. Kindly mute yourself. Let everyone join and then we'll start. Okay, so one more interesting example for higher grades again. So it's in front of you. You can read by yourself as well. And it is actually interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach. So again, a contributive question. Come to the chat box and what do you think? What is interdisciplinary and what is multidisciplinary approach? Anyone? Come on, teacher. Yes. Kindly mute your-
Yes, madam. Multidisciplinary is which includes more than one discipline or subject, and interdisciplinary is which is showing the connection between different subjects.
Thank you. So I really appreciate if everyone please mute yourself. We are getting the sound from the background, please. Okay. Teaching concepts from different subjects in a different way. In interdisciplinary, one topic is related to different subjects. Multidisciplinary includes all subjects. Miss Monica Verma, kindly mute yourself. Okay. Thank you so much, teachers, for your response. Now, this is again a figure which I have taken it, from the circular, and it is very interesting to see here a small wooden cart can be used to teach the concepts which are related to distance, measurement, motion, acceleration, velocity, and also help children understand the agricultural practices in geography. Now here I can see it is meant for mathematics as well, for physics too, and for your geography subject as well, particularly for the higher grades. So yes, again, yeah, I will tell you, no worries for pretend play as well. Yes, definitely at the end of the session. So yes, we can use such toys which are indigenous but we can make them by ourselves too, and we can make the children also to make such toys by themselves, because 18-year-old child, 16-year-old child can easily nail and make such toys to understand the whole project. It can be a part of your project as well, that how the child can make it and practice in different lesson plans to understand. Now, one again important thing is when we are doing the concept of villages, right? When we are creating a poem and we are helping the children to understand, by such attributes. So using any kind of a toy in any subject, in any lesson plan is the beauty of a facilitator only. So here we can use such things in our different grades lesson plan and make them very interesting and something new for the children. Now, again, it is an activity for the children. I can see here a beautiful, a tool which is in front of me. And it is actually, spoken by different names in different states. For example, if I am from Rajasthan, they speak it as a toran or a parrot toran, something like that, right? So it is again according to the state. In Gujarat, it is called Nilambi. If any teacher is from Gujarat, can relate with this toy. Now here, what is the need of this pedagogical tool and how am I going to use it? It is again a call. right? So for CPD for teachers, as you can see in this one, CPD for teachers, why we should not waste food. It means somewhere they are using it in, related to your science subject, that is related to food chain or producer, consumer, scavenger, something like that, isn't it? So here again, it is a question, if we are doing this activity on this platform in this workshop, what do you think, why we should not waste food? If we are teaching this concept to the children by the help of this Nilambi, then how you are going to tell it that why we should not supposed to waste the product? What you are thinking, what is going on in this pedagogical tool, how am I going to use it if I'm doing it somewhere related to food chapter in my classroom? What do you think? Chat box is open for everyone. Come on, teachers, you are doing so great. So can we relate it that why we should not waste the food if we are using this pedagogical tool, and how am I going to use it if I'm doing it with food chain or related to food chain, or maybe related to producer, consumer, scavenger, something like that. Yes, of course, when we are using such tools, we are actually, touching our topic basically, right? Here I can see one bird and then one more bird. I can see here parent bird and then one more bird. So here you can use this concept related to food chain, and you should tell that we should not supposed to waste the food because it is something which is meant for eating and nutrition, and everyone is getting the food and nutrition by any other person in the food chain also, because we are actually dependent upon each other. When we are dependent upon each other, the nature has created such chains that we should, rely on each other. We are relying on each other, and when we are relying, we are actually, the nature has created such chain that it is not get wasted. So similarly, if you are cooking something in your house, you must not waste it, right? When the nature is not doing this thing, you should also not doing this, and you are inculcating two values at the same time in the children in your classroom. That is what the motive of CBSE, to go for such kind of exercises in your classroom, making the children aware of two dual concepts at the same time. Now few more indigenous toys. Terracotta toys, am I correct everyone? Yes, these are terracotta toys and clay toys. Food is essential for other living things, so also we should not waste the food which is meant for awareness. Yes, you are right, absolutely right. So yes, again, I can see here beautiful, colorful toys. So if I'm talking about the primary colors, teachers, what do you think? Which are primary colors? Or name any 4 primary colors, right? So here in this peacock or whatever it is, it's a parrot something. Yeah, so in this parrot, I have red, I have blue, I have green, and I have yellow, right? So if I want to introduce a concept of primary colors in our classroom, in my classroom, I shall be taking this parrot along with me, isn't it? And I shall be telling my primary colors, doing that lesson plan with the help of this beautiful parrot, and I shall be creating one beautiful story related to this parrot. And meanwhile, that story, I shall be, making the children aware of all the 4 primary colors. That is what the purpose of these toys in the classroom. Now let's proceed further. Yes, again for English and numeracy concept, we have these wooden toys also. For any kind of a story, you can use such toys. For these stars can be easily used in the numerical concepts, can be used in ascending and descending orders, can be used in the very smaller one and the very bigger one too, right? So that is depending upon that which kind of a concept you are basically dealing with. Again, I can see for folk story, these are the very 2 indigenous toys. Hardly you can get it, or these are basically now available only in the craft melas. right? So there they actually fascinate you, and they actually grab your attention towards them, because they are no more useful nowadays, or as such no more approachable to the people, and the people also feel why we should buy or use them. So yes, you can use them somewhere. It is relating to our culture and heritage as well, and making your lesson plan interesting, and making your children aware of the tools as well. Gilli danda and stapu. Stapu can be easily used by the maths teacher. While doing this game, you can easily relate any of your numerical concept, and making your session physically interesting and mentally too, right? So this is something which is particularly meant for understanding the whole concept of toy pedagogy. This is something, a very beautiful exercise in front of you, where I have a science model, where I have a toy, and I have game in front of you. And what is a toy and how it is different from a science model, it is a question here again. So this is your model, this is my toy, and this is my game here. So what is the reflection of this whole session? It is out here in front of you. In the image above, you can identify which is a toy, a game, and a science model. Easily you can differentiate. Now, what are the different similarities and dissimilarities between these three? Is a question, very interesting question. It is a brainstorming one, that what do you think, how they are similar and how they are dissimilar? What is something which is actually making you to use this thing, is again a question, that why you are using this. Why not model every time? Why not toy every time? Why toy this time? Why model this time? So this is something, as a teacher, I always think when I'm making my lesson plan, and I also relate with the kind of learners in my classroom. What kind of a learners I have? Do they enjoy the model more, or they will relate with the toy pedagogy, or they will relate with the gamification method? Because I, as a teacher, know about my children in the classroom. When I am into my classroom, I am actually dealing with the kids who are, I'm pretty aware of what kind of a learner they are. So I will choose the attribute according to the learners I have, and I cannot make any child untouched from that activity. That is the prime role of me as a facilitator. I'm getting the responses in the chat box. Let's have a look. Similar for enhancing critical thinking in the kids. Yes, circulatory motion similarities, blood circulation, heart science model. Great. So teachers, the question is here basically, that why you will be using heart model this time? Why you will be replacing your heart model by Lattu or top next time? That is what the question. And when you are talking about the arteries and veins in heart, then you shall be going for the gamification, because you will be now dealing with the very critical part, which is inside the heart, when you have to cut the section and you have to show it to your children. So you can make it gamification. You are making the children aware of that, how the arteries and veins getting the blood and so on, right? So this is how we are making our lesson plan interesting by such things, but taking care of what kind of a learners we have in the classroom. Sometimes it happens that the teacher is making a lesson plan, and eventually the learning outcome will be not expected as such, which is to be expected. So sometimes it happens, which is okay. Not everything is teacher centric or student centric. So we just keep on changing the strategy, and that is what they are looking forward. Now, role of a teacher, a beautiful presentation is there on the board. Number of attributes, number of indigenous toys are there on the board. Lovely presentation, and it shall be covered in the part 2, because it is a wide topic, and we shall be dealing with it in detail. So teachers, this is all about today. I hope you have understood this point, which is related to indigenous toys. Indigenous toys, once it is clear, then only we shall be, understanding more about it. So that is why this whole, session is meant for understanding what is indigenous toys, how we can relate them with the models and, the games. And then in the upcoming session, we shall be dealing that how am I going to do this in my classroom? How am I going to present it? How it will be more interesting in comparison to the one which I'm using nowadays. So that is what something which I shall be, covering in the next one. And very important, that is something which I really love to do, that is linking the approaches. When I link the approach, it means I blend the approach with the another approach. So toy pedagogy we are doing, and we shall be linking it with one more approach in the upcoming session, that is part 2. Please explain toy pedagogy for middle segment, please. Ma'am, here I have told you the different age groups. I hope you have seen those age groups. In different age groups, it is related to middle segment means, there's these children which are in primary grades, if I am not wrong, right? So I've told you different kind of, yeah. So here pretend play, yes, pretend play you can do. Physical play is again for the middle segment. Constructive play is also meant for the middle segment. Functional play. So all the plays which I have shown you, I'll give you the link for watching the video as well, so that you can recall and read this content better. And you can go for more and more examples, which I shall be sharing in my part 2. Right? For every class. Few examples. Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Please explain this B part, cause and effect.
B part. Wait. Yeah, this one. Okay, so it is actually in relation to the exploratory play. Exploratory play is somewhere related for 1 to 5 years old child only. So the age milestone is that only, because here we are actually developing the sense organ of the child, right? So they are on a call, and we are actually making the child understand, and touching, throwing, smelling. Mainly focus is on the 5 sense organs, basically. Here, cause and effect, when we are talking about this, here the sense of control is actually in play. Here I am teaching the children that whatever you are doing, you are getting something out of it. But for exploratory play, they are just doing that. We are just giving those attributes to the children and let them explore. When they are explore, they retain something. They sometimes won't retain. Retention is always 50%. That is absolutely true. But here in cause and effect, when they are doing something, for example, they are pressing a button to play the music, in result, whatever is playing is the music. So here in cause and effect, whatever the child is doing responds towards stimuli. That is something out here. When the child is doing something, that is actually getting out of it something in return, that is the resultant, and that is something making the child to understand the sense of control also while doing that play. So here it is meant for 2 to 10 years, not for 1 to 2 years. 1 to 2 years is skipped from here, because they are actually exploring. And now they are on the track of cause and effect play, where they are getting the resultant in front of them when they are doing something out of it, right? Any other query? Pretend play was the query. So I really want to move towards that also, because one teacher was asking about that.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm audible?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Just the first 3 screens which you have shared, can you please share it? I was just noting down 2 points. I couldn't note it. The
This
first
one?
2 screens.
This one, ma'am?
1 second, ma'am. 1 second. I'm just pointing it out.
No worries, ma'am. I shall be giving you the link to watch this whole recording. No worries. I shall be giving you the whole link, how you can watch this whole video, right? You can watch this whole video,
Okay, ma'am.
and you can write your points. No worries. I shall be sharing it.
Okay, ma'am.
right?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, pretend play, I really
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
light. Pretend play, is it clear to everyone? Any teacher who want to know about pretend play? Pretend play is nothing to have a get-up related to any particular lesson plan. For example, if you are doing a chapter or a poem which is related to fairy tales, so you can grab or make a get-up which is related to fairy tale and go into your classroom, narrate the whole story, link the children with you, the children also connect with you, and you are actually, by socialization and pretending to be a fairing in your classroom, will make the children have a long life memory related to that particular chapter, and whole poem and chapter will be clear to the children if you have such pretend play by yourself or by your kids. When you are preparing the kids, they are actually, their time gets suffered. Sometime it happens because you are making them do that play. But when you are doing by yourself or with your co-teacher, the co-teachers also can make a pretend play together, right? And you can present in front of your children. They will definitely relate with both the co-teachers and they will understand the concept well, rather making the one teacher only playing two roles. It will be better that you can take your co-teacher along with you and making both the sections or 3 sections sitting together in a big hall and presenting a pretend play. Definitely it will work out, because pretend play is something which is, you know, very imaginative, which is very socialized based, and children quickly relate because their own teacher is doing that role, and they will narrate the same at home, and you will have 100% learning objective reach when they, you know, narrate the whole story in front of their mother or parents. That's it, right? So I think all the questions are done. I believe indigenous toys.
Thank you for clearing this
Ma'am,
pretend play.
ma'am, how can
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, how can we get the e-certificate? Can you provide us any
Yes.
attendance link, please?
Yeah, definitely. So you shall be getting the link on your WhatsApp, right? If you are in a group, right? AIEF group, you shall be getting the link for the certificate, and you can generate your certificate from there. Is it?
So, ma'am, for this, webinar, we will be getting the certificate from the WhatsApp group only, right, ma'am? Am I right?
Yeah, you shall be getting it from AIEF, right? Or
Okay.
if
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
not in that group, then kindly ping me at this number and I will, you know, forward your query, right?
And
I am in
ma'am,
the group, ma'am. I
when
am in
will
the
be
group, ma'am. So,
second part?
Yes, ma'am.
When will be the second part of it? That will be more interesting.
Yeah. So the date I have already mentioned in that, it will be, say, suppose on 15th of October. Tentative date is there. This will be nearby to that only, right? So the second part will be on 15th of October. It will include the role of teacher in toy pedagogy. Pros and cons also I shall be, you know, relating in the approach, and blending the toy pedagogy with today's need is again, because finding the indigenous toys is again a, you know, turning point for all, you know, teachers and facilitators. So yes, my workshops are related to teachers and they are teacher centric also. So I really look forward that how teachers will meet the need, you know, how they will arrange those indigenous toys is again a question, because teachers will feel that from where I can get these resources and all. So making the session
Yes.
more
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.